Welcome back to Amazing Thailand. Welcome back to TTM Plus 2022. We are very happy to have you here in the beautiful city of Phuket. And we are ready to awaken your senses with our new chapter from A to Z. Thailand has it all. We hope you enjoy stay in Thailand, in the beautiful city of Phuket, and looking forward to welcome back you again. Thank you.
Sawasdi krab. A very good afternoon. His Excellency Mr. Phiphat Ratchakitprakarn, Minister of Tourism and Sports, Kun Yuttasak Supasorn, Governor of the Tourism Authority of Thailand, Kun Phichet Panapong, Deputy Governor of Phuket Province, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thailand Travel Mart Plus 2022 or TTM Plus 2022 in this beautiful island of Phuket, the Pearl of Andaman, and the pride of Thai people. My name is Vaharin Sachadeo, very honored to be your MC and your moderator for this beautiful afternoon as we kick off the TTM Plus 2022, which marks the beginning of welcoming the tourism back to Thailand. It is my absolute honor to present to you, to introduce to you, the Governor of the Tourism Authority of Thailand, Kun Yuttasak Supasorn, who will be welcoming all of the buyers to the TTM Plus 2022 and present the report to the Minister. Please welcome Kun Yuttasak Supasorn krab.
เรียนรัฐมนตรีว่าการกระทรวงการท่องเที่ยวและกีฬาท่านพิพัฒน์รัชกิจประการ ในนามของการท่องเที่ยวแห่งประเทศไทยขอขอบคุณท่านตรีว่าการกระทรวงการท่องเที่ยวและกีฬาเป็นอย่างสูงที่กรุณาให้เกียรติมาเป็นประธานในพิธีเปิดงาน Thailand Travel Mart Plus 2022 หรือ TTM Plus 2022 ในวันนี้ในโอกาสนี้กระผมขอรายงานถึงความเป็นมาวัตถุประสงค์และสาระสำคัญของงาน TTM Plus 2022 ซึ่งเป็นไปตามนโยบายของรัฐมนตรีว่าการกระทรวงการท่องเที่ยวกีฬาที่เห็นความสำคัญของนโยบายเปิดประเทศรับนักท่องเที่ยวต่างชาติและตามแนวทางการประชาสัมพันธ์ Amazing Thailand New Chapter งาน TTM Plus เป็นงานเจรจาธุรกิจด้านการท่องเที่ยวเพื่อส่งเสริมการขายในระดับนานาชาติซึ่งถือเป็นงานส่งเสริมการขายที่สำคัญของประเทศไทยและอาเซียนที่เกิดขึ้นครั้งแรกในปี 2544 โดยการท่องเที่ยวแห่งประเทศไทยเป็นผู้จัดงานและได้รับความร่วมมืออย่างดียิ่งจากภาคธุรกิจเอกชนเป็นอย่างดีตลอดต่อเนื่องมาเป็นปีที่ 19 การจัดงานในครั้งนี้การท่องเที่ยวแห่งประเทศไทยได้รับความร่วมมืออย่างดียิ่งจากพันธมิตรภาคเอกชนในฐานะผู้สนับสนุนหลักอย่างเป็นทางการได้แก่จังหวัดภูเก็ตองค์การบริหารส่วนจังหวัดภูเก็ตสมาคมธุรกิจการท่องเที่ยวภูเก็ตบริษัท King Power International จำกัดโรงพยาบาลกรุงเทพ BDMS และสายการบินบางกอกแอร์เวย์ TTM Plus 2022 ครั้งนี้นับเป็นโอกาสและช่วงเวลาที่เหมาะสมสอดรับมาตรการผ่อนคลายการเปิดประเทศรับนักท่องเที่ยวตามนโยบายของรัฐบาลเมื่อวันที่ 1 มิถุนายนที่ผ่านมาและเป็นโอกาสอันดีที่สื่อมวลชนนานาชาติที่การท่องเที่ยวแห่งประเทศไทยเชิญมาจะช่วยเผยแพร่และประชาสัมพันธ์ให้ทั่วโลกได้เห็นถึงความพร้อมของประเทศไทยในการต้อนรับนักท่องเที่ยวในช่วงฤดูกาลท่องเที่ยวที่กำลังจะมาถึงการท่องเที่ยวแห่งประเทศไทยได้เลือกจังหวัดภูเก็ตเป็นพื้นที่จัดงานเพื่อต้องการตอกย้ำว่าเมืองท่องเที่ยวหลักและเมืองท่องเที่ยวรองของประเทศไทยนั้นมีความพร้อมที่จะต้อนรับนักท่องเที่ยวกลับมาใช้วันหยุดพักผ่อนอย่างมีคุณภาพสำหรับรูปแบบการจัดงาน TTM Plus 2022 การท่องเที่ยวแห่งประเทศไทยได้กำหนดการจัดงานในรูปแบบไฮบริดมีการเจรจาธุรกิจโดยพบหน้าระหว่างผู้ประกอบการที่เป็นผู้ซื้อหรือไบเออร์จากทุกภูมิภาคของโลกจำนวน222รายยกเว้นตลาดจีนจัดการเจรจาแบบออนไลน์55รายรวมผู้ซื้อทั้งสิ้น277รายที่ผ่านการคัดเลือกแล้วว่าเป็นผู้ซื้อที่มีคุณภาพและคู่เจรจาที่เป็นผู้ขายฝั่งไทยหรือเซลเลอร์จำนวน263รายที่ทำนัดหมายทางธุรกิจตลอดระยะเวลาของการจัดงานตั้งแต่วันที่1วันที่8ถึงวันที่10มิถุนายน2515นอกเหนือจากการเจรจาธุรกิจที่เป็นกิจกรรมหลักของงานแล้วในแต่ละปีททท.จะสร้างสรรค์กิจกรรมใหม่ๆนำเสนอภายในงานทั้งในเชิงวิชาการเพื่อเป็นการแลกเปลี่ยนเรียนรู้ผ่านเวที TTM Talk ในหัวข้อที่เป็นแนวโน้มอุตสาหกรรมท่องเที่ยวใหม่ช่วง post pandemic รวมถึงการนำเสนอประสบการณ์ทั้งโชว์เคสและการทำเวิร์กช็อป DIY จากชุมชนท่องเที่ยวที่มีอัตลักษณ์การส่งเสริมและรักษาสิ่งแวดล้อมโดยการนำขยะ
ในท้องทะเลมาสร้างสรรค์ผลิตภัณฑ์ด้วยนวัตกรรมและเป็นผลิตภัณฑ์ที่สามารถนำไปใช้ได้จริงตลอดจนการจัดโปรแกรมทัศนศึกษาให้กับสื่อมวลชนและผู้ประกอบการไปเยี่ยมแหล่งท่องเที่ยวชุมชนหลายที่ซึ่งสะท้อนวิถีชีวิตพื้นบ้านของชุมชนเช่นชุมชนอนุรักษ์พันธุ์ควายหายากชุมชนอุรักราโวยเป็นต้นการท่องเที่ยวแห่งประเทศไทยยังได้จัดโปรแกรมทัศนศึกษาเชื่อมโยงกลุ่มจังหวัดในอันดามันให้ผู้ซื้อและสื่อมวลชนจากต่างประเทศได้มีโอกาสเดินทางไปทัศนศึกษาเพื่ออัปเดตสินค้าท่องเที่ยวและมีประสบการณ์ตรงสะท้อนแนวคิดการนำเสนอในธีม Amazing Thailand New Chapter ประกอบด้วยเส้นทางภูเก็ตกรุงเทพ Experience the New Chapter of Bangkok ภูเก็ตพังงากระบี่กรุงเทพ Defining Your Thainess ภูเก็ตสมุยพังงานกรุงเทพ Authentic Artisan Retreat บัดนี้สมควรแก่เวลาแล้วกระผมขอเรียนเชิญท่านรัฐมนตรีว่าการกระทรวงการท่องเที่ยวและกีฬาได้กล่าวต้อนรับและทำพิธีเปิดงานอย่างเป็นทางการในระดับต่อไปขอกราบเรียนเชิญครับ
ขอบพระคุณท่านผู้ว่าการท่องเที่ยวแห่งประเทศยุทธศักดิ์สุพศรเป็นอย่างยิ่งนะครับสำหรับการกล่าวต้อนรับแขกผู้มีเกียรติและรายงานให้ทราบถึงที่มาของงานในครั้งนี้นะครับ so that was the welcome speech and the report on how TTM or Thailand Travel Mart came into the picture and this is the first of its kind after the pandemic and we are very proud to be able to host this event in the beautiful kingdom. So now to officially kick off the Thailand Travel Mart 2022, TTM Plus 2022, please join me in welcoming on the stage His Excellency Mr. Phiphat Ratchakitprakarn, Minister of Tourism and Sports.
สวัสดีครับท่านสุภาพบุรุษสุภาพสตรีสื่อมวลชนทุกท่านผมมีความยินดีเป็นอย่างยิ่งที่ได้มีโอกาสมาพบกับทุกท่านซึ่งเดินทางมาจากต่างประเทศทั่วโลกรวมถึงผู้ประกอบการที่อยู่ในประเทศไทยที่มาร่วมการเจรจาธุรกิจในงาน Thailand Travel Mart Plus 2022 ณ จังหวัดภูเก็ตในวันนี้ตามรายงานของผู้ว่าการท่องเที่ยวแห่งประเทศไทยที่กล่าวถึงความสำคัญของงาน Thailand Travel Mart Plus 2022 ถือเป็นเรื่องน่ายินดีและเป็นโอกาสของการพบปะเจรจาธุรกิจทางการท่องเที่ยวที่จัดขึ้นได้อย่างเหมาะสมทันสถานการณ์หลังจากที่ประเทศไทยเปิดรับนักท่องเที่ยวอันจะส่งผลดีต่อภาพลักษณ์และการสร้างความเชื่อมั่นให้กับประเทศไทยได้มากขึ้นด้วยหลังจากวิกฤตการณ์การแพร่ระบาดของไวรัสโคโรนาที่ส่งผลกระทบไปทั่วโลกทำให้การเดินทางระหว่างประเทศหยุดชะงักลงรวมถึงการเดินทางในประเทศเองก็ไม่ราบรื่นด้วยการล็อกดาวน์ที่มีความเข้มงวดมากน้อยขึ้นกับมาตรการของประเทศของแต่ละประเทศในการบริหารจัดการครั้งนี้จะเป็นครั้งแรกของการฟื้นคืนบรรยากาศด้านการท่องเที่ยวเมื่อการแพร่ระบาดของไวรัสโคโรนาคลี่คลายและเป็นเวลาเดียวกันที่หลายประเทศได้มีการผ่อนคลายมาตรการการเดินทางและเริ่มเปิดประเทศเพื่อการท่องเที่ยวแล้วเช่นกันที่ผ่านมาประเทศไทยได้พยายามขับเคลื่อนการเดินหน้ารักษาความสมดุลทั้งมาตรการทางด้านเศรษฐกิจควบคู่กับมาตรการด้านสาธารณสุขโดยตลอดและเมื่อประเทศไทยได้ประกาศเปิดประเทศเต็มรูปแบบเพื่อรับนักท่องเที่ยวตั้งแต่วันที่ 1 มิถุนายน 2565 เป็นต้นมาจึงเป็นโอกาสที่ผู้ประกอบการจะได้เชื่อมต่อเจรจาธุรกิจได้ใช้ช่องทางจากเวทีสากลนี้เพื่อสานสัมพันธ์หรือทำความรู้จักกันใหม่ในแวดวงของธุรกิจท่องเที่ยวที่อาจ เป็นผู้เล่นรายใหม่ในอุตสาหกรรมด้วยชื่อเสียงของภูเก็ตในฐานะเมืองท่องเที่ยวที่ติดอันดับโลกจึงมั่นใจได้ว่าประเทศไทยจะได้ผลตอบรับอย่างดีนโยบายการดำเนินงานของรัฐบาลได้พยายามมุ่งผลักดันเรื่องการเติบโตที่ยั่งยืนให้ความสำคัญของธุรกิจ Bio Circular Green Economy การแสดงพลังความร่วมมือของผู้ประกอบการโรงแรมในพื้นที่ภูเก็ตที่เข้ามาเป็น Official Hotel ในช่วงการจัดงานการแสดงออกถึงความเป็นเจ้าบ้านที่ดีรวมถึงการส่งเสริมสนับสนุนการตลาดให้กับกลุ่มผู้ให้บริการในท้องถิ่นที่เป็นธุรกิจรายย่อยเป็นการกระจายโอกาสให้กับผู้มีส่วนได้ส่วนเสียใหม่มีความพร้อมในการทำธุรกิจระดับสากลสามารถเติบโตได้ในทิศทางที่ยั่งยืนขณะเดียวกันเป็นโอกาสในการสื่อสารสร้างการรับรู้ Visit Thailand Year Amazing New Chapter ที่ผู้ประกอบการต่างประเทศจะได้รับทราบข้อมูลที่เป็นปัจจุบันและได้ประสบการณ์ตรงจากการสัมผัสพื้นที่จริงเข้าใจรูปแบบการท่องเที่ยวอย่างรับผิดชอบที่หลายประเทศใช้เป็นจุดขายเช่นกันเหนือสิ่งใดไม่เพียงแค่การแข่งขันธุรกิจความสำเร็จของงาน Thailand Travel Mart Plus 2022ควรจะเป็นเวทีของมิตรภาพที่ดีจากการรวมตัวของพันธมิตรในอุตสาหกรรมซึ่งบางครั้งอาจเป็นคู่แข่งและบางครั้งอาจเป็นหุ้นส่วนผมขอชื่นชมการท่องเที่ยวแห่งประเทศไทยหน่วยงานผู้จัดและองค์กรสนับสนุนรวมถึงผู้มีส่วนเกี่ยวข้องทุกท่านที่มีส่วนร่วมในการสร้างสรรค์กิจกรรมที่ดีและมีการนำเสนอสิ่งใหม่ๆในการต่อยอดอุตสาหกรรมการท่องเที่ยวเพื่อประโยชน์ต่อการขับเคลื่อนเศรษฐกิจโดยรวมสุดท้ายนี้ในนามตัวแทนพี่น้องคนไทยผมขอต้อนรับทุกท่านพำนักอยู่ในจังหวัดภูเก็ตอย่างปกติสุขภายใต้มาตรฐานความปลอดภัยและสุขอนามัยในแบบวิถีใหม่พร้อมขออำนวยพรให้การจัดงานสำลิดผลตามเจตนารมณ์ของผู้จัดทุกประการผมขอเปิดงาน Thailand Travel Mart Plus 2022 ณ บัดนี้ครับ
ขอบพระคุณมากครับเรียนเชิญท่านรัฐมนตรีรอบนเวทีก่อนนะครับ May I also invite on the stage to join the official opening of the TTM Plus 2022 the Governor of the Tourism Authority of Thailand, the Deputy Governor of Phuket Province, and we also have the distinguished guests joining them on the stage. Acting Sub-Lieutenant Anek Nurak, Assistant Professor Dr. Anamai Damned, members of the Board of Directors of the TAT will be witnessing the official opening of TTM Plus 2022. Amazing new chapters is about to begin. พร้อมแล้วนะครับ On the countdown of 5 to 1 เดี๋ยวผมจะ countdown นับถอยหลังจาก5สู่1นะครับ Let's do it together. On the count of 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And that's the official opening of the TTM Plus 2022 Thailand Travel Mart Plus 2022. The amazing new chapters. As we are ready to kick off the tourism and welcome tourists back to our beautiful kingdom and the region, this is the auspicious moment indeed, the official opening of TTM Plus 2022. ขอบพระคุณทุกท่านบนเวทีนะครับกราบขอบคุณอย่างยิ่งครับเรียนเชิญทุกท่านกลับไปนั่งพักผ่อนตามอัธยาศัยนะครับขอบพระคุณมากครับ The theme for TTM Plus 2022 is Amazing New Chapters, and the Tourism Authority of Thailand has commissioned the Sound of Siam, which is the band led by Goh, Mr. Saxman. He's the most renowned saxophonist in Thailand, together with Pui Duangporn. They composed the song and they sang it beautifully, which you are about to witness. So I give you the presentation of Amazing New Chapters with this beautiful performance. Let's put your hand put together for the artists. Thank you. Thailand, amazing Thailand, amazing new chapters by the Sound of Siam, Goh, Mr. Saxman, and Pui Duangporn, and the beautiful artists reflecting on who we are, Thailand as a country, beautiful landscape, beautiful smiles, beautiful people, ready to welcome you back to our beautiful kingdom. ขอบพระคุณมากๆครับ The Sound of Siam, which also highlights our soft power, summarized into 5F. you saw food, you saw fighting, which is the Muay Thai, you saw the fashion, the film, and the festival. So these are the elements of how we promote our tourism from now on. And as we know, that the global pandemic has changed the landscape of tourism, and it will never be back to before. But we are ready to face the challenges, and we are being very optimistic. So that's why we have this next session called TTM Talk. The topic for the TTM Talk this afternoon is Global Tourism, Shape-Shifting to the New Chapter. So the TTM Talk aims to give a glimpse of that next stage of international tourism. What are the new traveler behaviors and preferences, and what are the projected trends in the post-pandemic travel and tourism landscape, both globally and for Thailand? So the first session, we are dividing this into 3 sessions by our 3 distinguished speakers. The first session will be led by Rahimah Abdulrahim, and she's the Director of Public Policy for Southeast Asia, Metaverse, and the topic is Metaverse, Possibility of Tourism Industry and Beyond. Let me give you a bit of a background about Abdulrahim. Rahimah Abdulrahim, she's the Director of Public Policy for Southeast Asia for Meta since 2019. And for more than 20 years, she has been a tireless advocate of peace, democracy, and human rights in Indonesia and the region. And she has fostered a vast network of contacts with individuals and organizations in the public and private sector. She enjoys traveling extensively to speak about democracy, good governance, and the role of civil society in the Southeast Asia. And today she'll be speaking, as I mentioned earlier, the topic will be Metaverse and the possibility for the tourism industry through this new medium. So please welcome Ms. Abdulrahim on the stage.
Hello, everyone. Oh, such a warm welcome. And how wonderful is it for all of us to be here in Phuket, in Thailand, for the first TTM since the pandemic. And this is my first trip to Thailand since the pandemic in 2 years. I've missed it so much. And my first trip to Phuket in my life. So thank you so much for allowing me to come. Thank you so much for our host, to Minister Phiphat. Thank you so much. To Tourism Authority of Thailand Governor, Kun Yuttasak, and his wonderful team at TAT. We've had such a wonderful time, and they've been so gracious with us already. And to everyone who is joining us here today. So, what you just saw just now, what an amazing performance. A round of applause again for them, please. It really tickled my senses. And it reminded me of all the wonderful things. I got a little bit teary-eyed because I saw all the wonderful things I love about visiting Thailand. And I loved, I don't know all the 5 Fs, but definitely the food. So for me, it's all of that. And I want to wrap it up and bundle up and bring it home. So I don't have a slide deck, I don't have a presentation, but I want to take you on a journey. So imagine seeing all of that and being able to take it home with you through an experience. The sounds, the taste, the feeling that you had when you saw it, the nature that you see around. Imagine being able to sense that presence when you're already back in your home, thousands of miles away. You remember the movements, the way you felt when you saw it. And now, bringing that feeling home, and perhaps instead of sharing it through just photos, you can bring your friends to share that feeling surrounding. I saw that Muay Thai demonstration just now as part of the performance. I'm like, you can experience that too in the metaverse. So that's what I'm asking you to do. Imagine experiencing that in the metaverse. So imagine all of that. And imagining also, so I'm Indonesian. My mother is of course, in Jakarta. My mother is 75 years old. And she has always loved traveling. Unfortunately, during the pandemic, we found that she had cancer. But fortunately, she's a survivor. But travel is not the same. She has severe physical limitations now and would not be able to travel like she used to. So I imagine that I would be able to share my experience of that just now, or Phuket, or anywhere in Thailand, not just through the photos, but for her to experience it. I apologize, I'm gonna take my mask off. Am I allowed to do that? Thank you. Woo. What a relief. Not that you missed anything, but I jump ahead. So last October, when Facebook rebranded as Meta, many of us may have encountered the concept of the Metaverse for the first time. Many futurists and technologists have been excited about the Metaverse for some time. And our announcement sparked enthusiasm among many people, from gamers to creators to government agencies and leaders in the tourism industry like yourself. So of course, it also sparked some skepticism. Now, we understand that that's often a natural reaction to something that can sound so fanciful, or straight off the fantasy section of the local bookstore shelf. Now, let me share with you why I, not just because I work for the company, are amongst those enthusiasts about the opportunities and possibilities of the Metaverse, and why we need to pay attention, and why we think Thai tourism can really benefit from it. So many of you, I'm sure, remember the days before the smartphone. I saw everyone taking their videos just now when the performance happened and capturing the moment when you opened the ceremony, probably to share with your friends or to keep that memory. Well, when we got phones with cameras like just now, it became more visual. Everything became more visual and mobile. As connections got faster, video became richer, and it made a different way for us to share things. So we went from desktop to web to mobile, from text to photos to videos, all within a generation. Now, viewed against this technological progression, the Metaverse is a logical evolution. It will be the next generation of the internet, a more immersive, 3D experience whose defining quality will be that sense of presence, that feeling of being somewhere, with someone, experiencing something together. Already, a range of big and small tech companies are building the Metaverse, and these characteristics can already be found in virtual worlds of games like Minecraft, Fortnite, and these incorporate technologies like virtual reality, or VR, and augmented reality, or AR. And believe it or not, while these technologies are still young, they've been used for quite some time. So let me quickly explain what Metaverse is all about in the way that I can. I'm not an expert, but let me try. First and foremost, the Metaverse isn't just about those headsets that we put on that help us become immersed in other worlds or places, like your favorite place. It's now become my favorite place, Phuket. We call that VR, and it is at one end of the spectrum. And there's a very long and interesting spectrum to go through before you reach VR. So for example, the Metaverse spectrum includes exciting things like using avatars or accessing Metaverse spaces on your phone. You can also imagine AR glasses that project computer-generated images onto the world around us. And then we see these mixed reality experiences that blend both physical and virtual environments. Now, the Metaverse is much more than escapism that the name implies, being transported to another universe. It's ultimately about discovering endless ways for the benefits of the online world to be felt in our daily lives, enriching our experiences, not replacing them. So imagine, for example, how useful it would be to wear glasses that give you virtual directions in your line of sight, or immediate translations of street signs in foreign languages. I know that would be very helpful for me. Or sometimes I lose my direction and it's like, I want to know what that island is or what that mountain is. I looked outside my window this morning to see the hills. I was like, what hill is that? I would love to be able to use AR glasses to actually tell me what hill is that. And even make it possible for you to have a conversation with someone who is thousands of miles away as a 3-dimensional hologram in your living room, instead of a head and shoulders on a flat screen, which we've really experienced in the past 2 years through Zoom, through FaceTime. I'm sure all of you have experienced that in the past 2 years. So not only that, we are seeing benefits beyond tourism, like in education and healthcare, where life and life-saving skills are being brought to life in exciting new ways. So different technologies will enable different levels of immersion that suit the individual and the environment. They won't be a replacement for our experiences in daily life any more than the internet is today. What they will be is a way to build on interconnectedness the internet enables so that we can do more and have even richer experiences. Now, all this has a potential to unlock new opportunities and spark new ideas we haven't yet imagined, and to have a huge positive impact. Earlier, I said the metaverse is the logical evolution of the internet. So let me explain that. Since the internet was created, and I'm sure many of us in this, I'm giving away my age. We moved from bulky computers and the connected dial-up modems. I'm sure you remember the sound. Yeah. For those of you that don't remember that, you can see me after. Usually coupled with a not the World Wide Web. And we waited for a connection. We then moved to laptops and tables connected by Wi-Fi, my tablet connected to Wi-Fi. Now we have these super powerful handphones in our pockets that allow us to remain connected to the internet and the vast troves of knowledge wherever we go. So last night we had dinner with our wonderful TAT friends, and we were talking about how similar the food was. Indonesian food with the Thai food, with the food that was served to us here in Phuket. So many similarities. It was so wonderful. And I was explaining to them about something that we have in Indonesia. And I was like, it was very hard because I'm a visual person. So what do? I whip out my phone, scroll, and it's like, it looks like this. And they go, it sparks a conversation. Now, this has all really been made possible because of increases in speed and availability of internet connectivity. So what seemed impossible even 20 years ago, it's now a day-to-day, like sharing photos and videos. As humans, we don't communicate through words alone, just as we don't experience the wonders of this beautiful island, Phuket, through words alone. Static images help us experience or re-experience memories together with sounds and moving images. But as human beings, we interact with each other in 3 dimensions, where body language, spatial awareness, and multiple senses remain incredibly important to how we experience and how we remember. Just like what we saw just now will be remembered by many of us. So technology doesn't stand still, and the future of social technology is changing, and so are we. So now is the time to think of what this means for how we will experience new places, the expectations we will develop as we plan for our next holiday and trips for exploring. How much of that exploration will have happened before we embark on our tourist adventure? And how will we use the metaverse environments to learn about where we want to go? It's kind of like pre-exploring, I guess. How much will be the follow-up, where we'll maintain connections with the people, places, small businesses, designers, and creators of the places we visited? And what's going to make these interactions feel real, giving us a sense of connection that creates values for us and our relationships with those we love and the places we care about? So let me share with you what we at Meta think are going to be the 3 biggest factors that will make interactions in the metaverse feel more like those in our everyday life. So the first one is ephemerality. Now, this simply means that so much of how we communicate lasts for a very short time, usually just the moments in which we speak something, make a physical gesture, or gaze at someone. In other words, there is no long-term record of what we spoke or what we gestured. This, in fact, is very different from the emails, text messages, and written posts on social media, which are often persistent, creating a record that lasts over time and is subject to much review to deletion. The metaverse will constitute a shift towards live, speech-based communication that will often feel as transient as a face-to-face, like we are right now. In other words, if I want to communicate with you in today's internet, the first thing I would do is write a text, whether through Line, whether through WhatsApp, or post a message on our Facebook or Instagram, for example. But to communicate with you in a shared metaverse space, I would speak. The second big factor is embodiment. In the metaverse, we will be able to communicate not only through typing on a keyboard or looking at a screen, but through our physicality. Avatars will reflect our real bodily movements. This will allow us to communicate more expressively, to use our hands to create and manipulate digital objects, and to interact with our virtual 3D environment. This real-time 3D synchronicity is a crucial difference with the way we interact in today's internet. As you can imagine, I talk a lot with my hands. Thank God I have a tablet in one hand, and this hand is just moving around. It's like, so in the metaverse, I really talk with my hands. So it's a really an interesting experiment. And the third big factor is immersion. In the metaverse, we will communicate in ways that make us feel as if we are actually in a specific space with other people. Shared environments where social interaction feels natural, like a conversation with friends in a coffee shop, restaurant, or at home, or on a beach here in Phuket. These attributes mean people will experience the metaverse in a way that is much closer to physical world interactions than to the experience of using a mobile app or website. In this way, the metaverse isn't the same like a mobile app, like Facebook or Instagram. It's closer to a universal virtual layer that everyone can experience on top of today's physical world. One where you can have a consistent identity that people can recognize wherever they see you. Now, for this to become a reality, no single company can or should control the metaverse, but different experiences will need to be compatible. If, for example, you want to be able to bring a photo you took in one space into another, or to use the same avatar to represent your virtual identity in different places. I know that a lot of this is difficult to wrap our heads around sometimes, but we are talking about technologies that are just beginning, but which will be taking off very quickly. While some of the AR, VR tech we see in gaming may soon seem rudimentary when we look back in a few short years, we believe that much more technology is yet to be developed. The benefits that technologists espouse today will be unlocked by advances in tech that are still to come. So it's really exciting, and we need to be thinking forward to this today, because this new tech is going to revolutionize many industries and create many opportunities, especially and including in tourism. Because tourism is about discovery. It's about relaxation, about joy, about connection. Just imagine how the internet has transformed the way we learn, the way we buy things, the way we connect with people and businesses, and even plan our holidays and trips abroad. Imagine being able to have a virtual walk around your hotel room or around your Airbnb in the metaverse, so you can experience the facilities and amenities that are offered. The metaverse will create even more opportunities for value creation in the tourism industry and supply chain. More meaningful and durable relationships can be built to ensure the tourist experience and connection with Thailand that does not end when I go back on the plane to go back home. I'll be able to maintain close contact with people and places that I encountered while on my trip. And you can expect that from each and every tourist. The tourist may even take cooking course, art classes, or even offer up a business opportunity to a creator or small business owner who could supply products or services that she needs when she's back home in her home country. So for me, I can imagine, seeing a beautiful piece of material that I see here and experience it and bringing it back. It's souvenir, but we're bringing back the souvenir of an experience, of a presence, of an experience. So that not only benefits the tourist, but it benefits the entrepreneur, and also for Thailand's economy. So if I've learned anything in the time that I've worked for Meta, is that technology always surprises, and the possibilities are endless. So I'm proud to work with a company that is building for the future And we are thrilled to partner with governments around the region, including agencies like the Tourism Authority of Thailand, who are already thinking forward to how Thailand can benefit from the future technology that creates the metaverse. So in closing, what I would like all of you to take away from what I've said today already is that the metaverse is the future of social technology. I know nothing beats being together, but when we can't be together in person, the metaverse gets us even closer to feeling that in-person connection. Because it is immersive and engaging, it makes it easier to really feel like you're having shared experience even when you can't be together. And then the last thing, Meta isn't going to build or run the metaverse on its own. We will be collaborating at every stage with companies such as yours, developers, Express, and of course, policymakers. So I'm really excited about the future of the metaverse. The opportunities to create value for us, our communities, they're truly endless. I think tourism will benefit greatly from metaverse technologies. And now is the time to imagineer what we want to see, what we want to create. And I'm certain that technology will be quickly created to support that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rahimah Abdulrahim, the Director of Public Policy for Southeast Asia, Meta. And well, we do hope that Metaverse will not stop her from flying to Thailand, because we still need her energy every now and then. Our next speaker, the session 2, the topic is Driving Inclusive Tourism Recovery in Thailand with Airbnb. And we have a speaker from Airbnb, Mich Goh. She's the Head of Public Policy, Southeast Asia, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and India. Mich Goh is the Head of Public Policy for Airbnb in Southeast Asia, Hong Kong, Taiwan, and India. And she manages policy initiatives and engages with government elected officials, associations, and other relevant third parties in support of a fair and progressive regulatory framework that embraces the potential of short-term rental. Mich is also the Vice Chair of the US ASEAN Business Council's Travel and Tourism Committee, the Honorary Secretary of the Pacific Asia Travel Association Singapore Chapter, and for today, as I mentioned earlier, she'll be giving a talk on Driving Inclusive Tourism Recovery in Thailand with Airbnb. Please welcome Ms. Goh on the stage.
Hi everyone, Sawadika. It's great to be here, and actually for me it's very nostalgic to come back because my family used to make a lot of trips to Phuket, and instead of staying here at the ANGSANA, we used to be across the lagoon at Alamanda. So it's just great to be back here again. Thank you so much to the Minister of Tourism and Sports for having me here, as well as the Governor of the Tourism Authority of Thailand. And thank you also to everyone who spent so much time and effort to organize this great event. For me, it's my first public speaking actually following the pandemic. So if I'm a little bit off or if I make any mistakes, please pardon me. So today I really just wanted to talk about the trends that Airbnb are seeing in terms of travel and what we've observed and the implications that it might have on Thailand. So starting first with going back to the very start actually, I wanted to talk a little bit about Airbnb. So many of you might have known, but Airbnb was founded in 2007 when 2 hosts welcomed 3 guests into their apartment in San Francisco. So 2 of these gentlemen right here who are Airbnb's co-founders, they were budding entrepreneurs and they were just starting out in San Francisco, which is a very expensive city. They realized that there was a design conference happening over the weekend and they knew that many hotels were already fully booked. So they looked around them and they thought, how can we make some money from this? And they realized, hey, actually we have space in our apartment and we can rent it out. And that's the genesis of the very first Airbnb listing ever. Since then, Airbnb has grown and expanded, and we are now present in over 220 countries and regions across the world. We also have over 4 million hosts, and these 4 million hosts have collectively welcomed more than 1 billion guest arrivals since the start of the company. How about here in Thailand? So here in Thailand, as of the end of 2019, we had 99,000 listings across the country. And that resulted in a collective 1.4 billion US contribution to Thailand's GDP. In terms of Airbnb guest spending alone, 1.6 billion US was what was spent. And that was spent across different cities across Thailand, ranging from Bangkok to Chiang Mai to Pattaya and Phuket. The reason why I want to share 2019 numbers is that we've observed as a business that travel has already rebounded to pre-pandemic levels. So this is just an indicator of what it could mean for Thailand when it comes to Airbnb's contributions. So if we go to the next slide, you'll see that travel is back. International guest arrivals on Airbnb is pre-pandemic already and is growing steadily. But what we've observed, very interestingly, is that as travel comes back, it's coming back very differently. So I want all of you to think about your next 1 or 2 trips as I go through the next couple of slides. When you think about your travel and when you think about where you want to go, where you want to stay, or what you want to do when you get there, think about whether that's changed from when you were traveling pre-pandemic. So for us as a company, we've observed 3 major trends. The first is that there's greater flexibility around when travel happens. The second is that people are traveling for longer and blending travel with just their general living patterns. And finally, we've also seen that there has really been a rise of the conscious traveler. And I think this bodes very well for Thailand with its own bio-circular green economic model. So diving first into the very first broad trend that we're seeing, we know that nearly 63% of employees of travelers expect more flexibility from their employers. I think this is because hybrid work arrangements and working from home or even working from the beach or from the mountains is becoming more of the norm. The second thing that we've seen is that we know that travelers are looking to travel more during off-peak seasons. So as opposed to just traveling during the peak summer months or Christmas break in December, people are traveling more spontaneously over long weekends and just whenever they can. And I think this also bodes very well for Thailand, which is a year-round tropical destination where you'll find beautiful weather regardless of where you go. And finally, we know that flexibility has really become a thing that people think about when they're planning travel. We launched a function last year called I'm Flexible, which basically just allows you to search for any available accommodation in any destination that you're searching for. And that tool alone has already been used over 2 billion times since it was introduced. So first point, flexibility is now a bit more of a norm when it comes to travel. Second large point, so people are staying longer. We've seen that long-term stays on Airbnb have really taken off. And globally, it's reached a high in the first quarter of this year, with 1 in 5 nights being a long-term stay. In fact, nearly half of the nights booked on Airbnb in the first quarter alone were for a week or more, a very, very long trip. And last year alone, we saw that 1 in 5 Airbnb guests were traveling not just for leisure, but they were also blending in working at some point in their trip. This has also implications for Thailand. So over 50% of recent bookings that we saw in over 12 destinations, and this includes Bangkok and Phuket, were for stays of more than 28 nights, which is a very, very long amount of time. And it shows that people want to come here for long. So going on to the third point, and I think this is a very significant point, is the rise of the conscious traveler. So late last year, Airbnb worked with Economist Impact to do a survey in the Asia-Pacific region to try and understand whether or not the pandemic had any impact on the way people travel. And we noticed some very, very stark movements. The first is that people want to travel in ways that positively benefits the local communities. So when they think about traveling, they don't just think about visiting landmarks or tourist attractions. They think about what they can do with local communities to immerse themselves in local culture and to also contribute economically. Yeah, and so that's the second point as well. They're looking to spend more time in communities and they're looking to spend for ways in which they can really get to know a city or a destination in a better way. So these new travel trends really bring opportunities to off-the-beaten-path destinations, whether it's a secondary destination in Thailand or a smaller and less known part of even a major city like Bangkok. Diving into the data in Thailand, we know that 91% of Thais, and this is a very overwhelming majority, say that sustainable tourism is important to them. 66% of them say that they will factor sustainable practices into their future holiday plans, which means that all of the efforts that you're doing here in Thailand to introduce sustainable practices are important and are well appreciated by travelers. 72% of them say it's important to create a positive impact for locals. And more than 2/3 of Thai respondents say that they will travel more domestically, which gives more opportunities for local communities here as well. And then finally, more than 70% of local people here plan to travel specifically to rural areas, which could bring much needed tourism dollars to these local communities. So, I mean, when we look at this as a business, we knew that people were starting to travel differently. And as a result of that, we've made many changes to our product over the past year. So if you go on to the next slide, we've made more than 150 improvements to products in the past year alone, ranging from offering things like verified Wi-Fi, so that if you are working during part of your time on your holiday, you know for sure that you've got good Wi-Fi connection. We've also introduced a new translation engine to take into account more local differences. And we've also offered hosts the chance to ask a superhost, which means that they can consult someone else who's a superhost. But I think the most important thing that we have changed in the past year alone is to really take into account the way that people search and their desire for unique listings. So just last month, we introduced a new way of searching on the Airbnb platform called categories. I will play the next video first and then talk a little bit more about it. So essentially what categories is that it gives you a chance to look for curated types of accommodations and stays. And by just searching on the category alone, you'll be brought into a world where you can explore different castles, caves, many different types of diverse accommodation. Perhaps we should partner with Meta to see how we can add a layer of VR on top so people really get to imagine it. But I think what is really revolutionary about this is that it upends the idea that someone has to think about a destination first and then find the accommodation. Very often now we're seeing that the accommodation is actually the attraction. So instead of picking, say, Barcelona and then after that finding an apartment or a hotel, what I can now do is I can look perhaps for a tree house in Nan or a cabin in Chiang Rai. And because of how amazing and wonderful this location is, decide to go there because of that reason. So I think Thailand has a lot to offer in terms of that. We've seen so many beautiful stays here in Thailand, either beachfront villas or a tree house in the trees. And there's so much that we know that Thailand has to offer that we can leverage categories for. Another big thing that we've made changes to is to introduce this idea of split stays. So because we know that people are staying for longer when they travel, we wanted to give them the chance to explore not just one accommodation or one location in a destination. This essentially gives them a chance to split a trip between two different homes, and in doing so also they find more availability and more interesting destinations when they're searching for a longer stay. The final big thing that we've launched, and this is I think the most, I think this gives people a lot of peace of mind, is essentially what we call air cover for guests. And this is the best free offering that you can find in the tourism industry. So what it does is that it offers booking protection guarantees, check-in guarantees, and a get what you book guarantee, which means that as long as you're booking an accommodation on Airbnb, you can be assured that you will have a place to stay, you will be able to check in, and it will be exactly what was promised as you made the booking. And finally, if something unfortunate happens on your trip, we will always have a 24-hour safety line in multiple different languages to cater to guests. But I think enough about the Airbnb platform. I also just wanted to talk a little bit about what we're doing here in Thailand to harness the travel rebound. So we're working hand in hand with local government, as well as, can we go to the next slide, please? As well as local communities to drive recovery in a way that benefits local communities. So as travel starts to return to Thailand, it shouldn't just be to primary destinations or places that have always benefited. Travel needs to also be dispersed to secondary destinations and emerging destinations so that more and more people can be earning an income from tourism. And we know this is also what guests want. So if we go to the next slide, this is one example of a campaign that we launched earlier this year called the Green Newcomer Campaign, which we launched in partnership with the Tourism Authority of Thailand and in support of the BCG model. So what this was is that we launched a specific booking website that had accommodations that were approved by the Tourism Authority of Thailand as sustainable tourism options and promoted this and offered a discount to anyone who wanted to book it. So in doing so, this helps people to unearth and find green accommodations, and it also spurs accommodation providers to think about in ways in which they can green their accommodation and make it more sustainable. I think this is a really crucial point given how important sustainability is, and it's wonderful that the Tourism Authority of Thailand is thinking so much about it and investing behind it. So if we go to the next example, this is something that we launched during the pandemic actually. So this is the Meet Thailand's Villages campaign that we are doing to surface hidden gems in OTOP communities. We first started by launching an online experience. So at the start of the pandemic, we began to realize like, hey, guests actually want to still get a flavor of travel, even if they're stuck in their homes or under lockdown. So we worked with the local communities to create online experiences that allowed people from all around the world to see what a traditional fisherman's life might be like in a Thai island, or to understand culturally what weaving looks like in a Thai village in the north. And this gives people a chance to get a taste of what the country is like, so that when borders reopen again, they can actually come here and experience it for themselves. So we're very much looking forward to the second phase of this partnership, where we hope to use categories to unearth hidden gems throughout Thailand, whether it is something in Khon Kaen or something in Phang Na. We hope to be able to do more to bring people to emerging destinations and secondary destinations in Thailand. And then finally, this is something that we're also very proud of, is this campaign that we launched the moment that Thailand started opening its borders. So once we heard that Thailand was opening with the Phuket sandbox, we started to rack our brains and brainstorm, how can we remind people that Phuket is the pearl of the Andaman and Thailand's gem, and how can we get them to think about coming to Phuket again? So we basically found this Sino-Portuguese house, which is conventionally known overseas as the Governor's Mansion. It is the home to the popular restaurant, the Blue Elephant. And what we did was that we refurbished the mansion, and we brought in local Thai designers. So local Thai designers who are creating really interesting Thai-style but contemporary furniture. And we refurbished the whole place, and we put it up for booking for 4 lucky guests for just $25 USD per night. And just within 72 hours of launching this campaign alone, we already garnered 400 global stories. This was also amplified across all of the TAT's social media. And as a result of the collective efforts, we had over 10.8 million unique impressions just on social media alone. So we wanted to do this because it's a real reminder to people like, hey, Phuket as a destination is open. Apart from just its wonderful beaches and tasty cuisine, you can also come and stay in this beautiful mansion that is a slice of living history in Phuket Old Town. So we want to do more and more of this as Thailand continues to open, and look forward to seeing how we can do more. So finally, what does all of this mean for Thailand? I think when anyone thinks about Thailand, or once you ask anyone, do you want to go to Thailand, what comes to mind for them are several things. Beautiful beaches, lush greenery in the north, or elephant camps, wonderful night markets and Thai cuisine, and the rich cultural heritage that people know that can be found throughout different parts of Thailand. But I think what people also maybe don't think about so often is that Thailand also has wonderful infrastructure. So Thailand is a great place to spend a lengthier amount of time in, and we know that the Thai government is putting in a huge amount of effort to attract vacation travelers, remote workers to come and situate themselves here in Thailand. So I believe with all of the collective efforts of the private sector as well as the Thai government, we already have, Thailand is a gem. What we now need to do is to work together to cater to also this new form of travel that focuses not just on visiting, but also staying longer, blending work, travel, and living, and also infusing sustainable and green options in travel. Thank you.
Thank you, Mich Goh. And very happy and delighted to hear that the policy of Airbnb actually rhymes with the way the Tourism Authority of Thailand and the TAT is actually progressing with the tourism in the country, making it a sustainable tourism. Thank you so much for your presentation. Our next speaker, last but not least, the session 3 for this TTM Talk, The topic is the future trends of health and wellness tourism. And our speaker is David Boehm. He's the co-founder and chairman of Miskawaan Health Group, a unique full-service health clinic that empowers you to understand your unique healthcare profile and through their non-pharmaceutical proprietary treatments. And today, David will be talking about the future of health and wellness tourism trend for Thailand, which has great potential as a global medical and wellness tourism destination, especially the Andaman Wellness Corridor in 4 southern provinces, offering a unique Thai health services integrated with modern medical technology. So please put your hands together for David.
Sawadee Krab. His Excellency Minister of Tourism Phiphat, my good friend Governor Yuttasak of Tourism Authority of Thailand, Deputy Governor of Phuket, thank you very much for the honour of being here today and to talk about the future trends of health and wellness tourism, in particular for Thailand. So first of all, who's happy to be back in Thailand? I am. It's so great to be back in a forum like this where people are all together in a room, and I think we've all had enough of these online meetings, and it's really time to get back in the world and get travelling, as my 2 former speakers said, and let's talk a little bit about specifically health and wellness. So Miskawaan Health Group, we started this here in Thailand about 4 years ago, and why did we choose Thailand? Because we have the kind of medicine that is very similar to Thai traditional medicine. Why did we choose Thailand? Because everybody likes to come to Thailand, because of all the reasons the previous speakers said. But Thailand has also a very good reputation for medical and wellness tourism already. It's one of the top 5 destinations in the world before COVID, and it's going to be again, I'd say, top 2 or top 3, maybe even the best destination in the world for medical and wellness tourism, and that's why we're all here today as the guests of the government of Thailand and TAC, and what a great initiative to bring us all here today into Thailand. And also, Thailand, people of Thailand love to help their guests and love their guests to feel welcome. And when they're in the medical business or the tourism business, they love their guests to feel better. So what better place to do medical and wellness tourism than in Thailand? So this market is huge, and most of you are in this travel business. So thanks to our friends at the Global Wellness Institute, we've got this chart that's going to come up right now that shows you how big the global wellness economy was even in 2020 in COVID. $4.4 trillion US dollars. That's not Thai baht, that's US dollars. So including things like traditional and complementary medicine, the kind of things like Thai traditional medicine, and wellness tourism alone is almost $500 billion. And by this time, by 2022, you can be sure it's even much, much bigger. So this is just the global wellness economy. It does not include the medical economy, which of course is much bigger. And Thailand is striving very hard to become a big part of all of this in the future. So let's have a look at the next slide, please. And I just want to say a little bit about modern healthcare, particularly in the West. So what we do in the West and in many parts of the world in our healthcare model, some might call it sick care, is that we wait for all the people to get sick enough to fall off the cliff, and we have an ambulance standing by here at the bottom of the cliff to take them to the hospital and get them better. Okay? So now what we're going to try and do, and this is the initiative of the government of Thailand and the Tourism Authority of Thailand, is to develop wellness as a concept. So people, the idea is to put a fence up there and to stop those people falling off the cliff so they don't have to go to hospital. So we want all those people to come to Thailand, and we'll put up that fence and we'll show them how to get better. So we talk about life after COVID, and both my former speakers said that the life won't be the same, but personally, I hate that term new normal. I want things to get back to what they were, so we're going to try and do that as much as we can, and I think this event is one big example of how we're going to go back to normal as much as we possibly can and as fast as we possibly can. So one great thing about COVID, even though the world was shut down for a period of time, one great thing about COVID is that now everybody knows what's the most important thing about their health? Their immune system. Because who got very sick and who unfortunately passed away because of COVID were the people who didn't have a very good immune system. So it all gets back to this whole concept of wellness, and it all gets back to the 5 Fs that we're talking about before, because if you're going to be well, you're going to have to involve those 5 Fs, those soft powers of Thailand in your life. So this is why Thailand is going to be at the forefront of this worldwide push towards not just tourism, but tourism that's going to help you get better. So we all need a very calm and balanced immune system. That's going to help us to avoid any condition, including COVID. In fact, if your body is working well, you can say the best doctor is your own body. So next slide, please. So the key pillars for health and wellness tourism, in our opinion, is integrative health. So that means not just conventional medicine. Conventional medicine is important. If you have a very bad bacterial infection, you might need antibiotics, but at the same time you'll need complementary alternative medicine to help you build your immune system back up again. So integrated health is very important. And what we call functional medicine in the West is actually traditional Thai medicine that's been practiced here for thousands of years. And you know that even today, there's over 2,000 Thai herbs that are used medicinally. 2,000 Thai herbs that are used medicinally. And what a great way to promote Thailand by saying, come to Thailand, eat the food, and you're actually getting healthier by eating this food because you're using the Thai herbs that are already available. And there's a very famous Thai herb called Phiphat Ratchakitprakarn. I'm sure all our Thai friends here know it very well and use it. It's a great anti-inflammatory, it's natural, and a lot of my Thai doctor friends have been using Phiphat Ratchakitprakarn to help people recover from COVID much more quickly than they would otherwise. So we've got all this incredible medicine here already in Thailand, and we've been using it for thousands of years. So why not bring it back and show the people from the rest of the world that this is really going to be important. Luxury retreat. Well, does Thailand have luxury retreats? We're staying in one right here today. This whole LAAGUNA area is full of luxury retreats. So people who want to come and enjoy the luxury retreats, and I think Phuket has more luxury retreats than almost any place, any island in the world. And at the same time, as what my former speakers were saying, people aren't just coming to have a holiday now. They want to have a holiday and at the same time do good things for the environment and do good things for themselves. So it's not just luxury, it's luxury plus. Like TTM plus, it's luxury plus. Weight management. Okay, so you know why COVID was called COVID-19? It's not because 2019, it's because the average person in the world put on 19 pounds during the COVID lockdown. So weight management is so important, and you don't have to do too much. If you're an old guy like me, 65 years old, 30 minutes of walking, brisk walking a day, it's enough. But you have to watch what you eat, and you have to lead a reasonably healthy lifestyle. And those donuts outside, I know they're very tempting, but you can't have too many of those, maybe just one in a week, that's about it. But naturally, eating the food here in Thailand, it's very fresh. As I mentioned, it's full of herbs. Things like chilies, if you enjoy chilies. Chilies actually help you to improve your metabolism, so you speed up your metabolism, and you naturally lose weight just from eating chilies. It's amazing, right? How good is that? And we all love spicy food. Most of us do. Certainly those living in Thailand like I do. So weight management is key, and we've got great places here that can help you with weight management just by eating the healthy Thai food. Bespoke healing program. So this is really important. So unfortunately, most of the world is treated by guidelines. So guidelines don't work very well for most people because they're based on statistics and they're based on information that was derived mostly looking at people like myself, Caucasian people. But what works with me, whether you talk about drugs or any kind of healing product, it might not work. In fact, it probably won't work for those of you with Asian ethnicity. People from different continents even. If you're coming from the Indian subcontinent, you want to have different products than people here in the Southeast Asian region. So you've got to have a bespoke healing program that works for you. So we very, very importantly look at the individual, and the great thing about Thailand is that we have the resources here. We have the trained personnel, not just doctors, but nurses and all massages, for example. If anyone wants to get a massage anywhere in the world, what's the first thing they think about? A Thai masseuse, for example. So we have all these things in Thailand to form a bespoke healing program so that when your clients come to Thailand, they know that they're going to have not just a holiday, but a holiday that's going to be healthy and is designed for them. Physical and mental well-being, how important is that? So during the lockdown, I'm the chairman of a child's charity here in Thailand called Childline Thailand Foundation. We run the helpline for children here in Thailand. And during the lockdowns, we had an exponential growth in calls from children here in Thailand, worried about going to school, worried about their friends, they're fighting with their parents. And so the physical and mental well-being has suffered a lot during COVID. And again, in Thailand, if you're not feeling very well, if you're not feeling very happy, well, you're in Phuket. Just walk out and look at the water and smell the fresh air, right? So just that first thing when you come to Thailand, to a beautiful island like this, and you start to think, wow, I'm so happy. I'm breathing this fresh air. I'm out of the city, and I'm not depressed anymore, right? It's so important. So that's really, really critical. One of the key pillars is that we've got to help everybody with their physical and mental well-being, and Thai people are so nice. Every person I came through, when I walked into this room, they're all saying, Sawadee ka, Sawadee ka. Everyone is so nice. So you feel better. You feel better to be in Thailand. Okay? So all of you people coming from all around the world, from Kazakhstan, from Mongolia, from India, from all around the world, your clients want to come to Thailand. I can promise you they do. Next slide, please. Healthy getaway. So as I was talking before, people are not just looking to come and have a holiday anymore. They want to have a healthy holiday. What's the point of going to a holiday destination and eating hamburgers and drinking beer and going back much heavier than what you were when you left, and you don't feel good about yourself? You feel, well, I didn't have a holiday, I just got fat. So people are looking to come to a place that can do things in a healthy way. And so, as I was saying, you need to do it in a personalized manner. Promote immune strength, because again, that's what's going to help us to avoid the next COVID-19, 20, whatever it's going to be. We want to promote healing and rejuvenation. There's so many places in Thailand that can rejuvenate you, can help your body, help you get back to where you were, both physically and mentally. We want to support and encourage relaxation, because if you want to get your well-being back on track, then you're going to have to make sure that you're mentally relaxed as well. And what better place, again, to do that than on a beautiful location like a beach in Phuket or in a mountain in Chiang Mai or wherever you want to be. And then education. Education is so important. And I congratulate the government of Thailand, because they're working very, very hard on educating both their own people to be these health professionals around Thailand, and also to educate people coming to visit Thailand on things like healthy living. For example, most resorts now offer lessons on Thai cooking. And as I mentioned, many Thai dishes are very, very healthy. So education is not just being taught amongst the Thai people, we're sharing this knowledge with other people. And one of the things we're going to do in my company is to work with universities like PSU here in Phuket to look at these Thai herbal products, those 2,000 I mentioned, and share them with the world using traditional research and modern research, and say, okay, these natural products are going to be much better for your health than taking the chemical drugs that we see in the pharmacy. So education is absolutely important. So again, we can provide a customized program for individuals that want to improve their health and get better, and we have the resources, and we have the products, and we have the energy, and we have the drive, and the government of Thailand is so supportive of this. I can't tell you, people who are coming from overseas, how much is going to be important to bring your clients to Thailand. And they're going to say, thank you. Thank you for sending me to Thailand. When can I go back again? Next slide, please. So, Thailand opportunities. So, the Thai government, as I mentioned, have comprehensive plans to develop this country as an international medical and wellness hub. And we heard about a great initiative, which I think was developed by the TAT and the government together, which is the Andaman Wellness Corridor. And the Andaman Wellness Corridor is not just a concept, they're already implementing a lot of things that are going to be happening in this part of the world. Phuket will be a big focus of that, to help people to come to Thailand and improve their health and their well-being. As I saw on the first slide, this is a 4.4 trillion business, and it's getting much bigger. That was just 2 years ago. So the Andaman Wellness Corridor is the first, 4 southern provinces, and that's going to provide exceptional medical and wellness services with the treatment of many different kinds of ailments. And a lot of the things that we treat here in Thailand using a combination of traditional Thai medicine, healthy habits, and what we call functional medicine, that is basically how you're going to be able to get better, not by keep taking chemical drugs because you had a symptom. We're looking at the Thai traditional medicine approach of looking at the whole body. Just checking the watch here. I think I've got 5 more minutes. So the other thing is that Thailand is very welcoming to a big community, and I call it the pink dollar, the LGBTQ community. And I saw there was a lot of people here from India. In India, according to the statistics, there's 106 million people part of that community. Let's welcome them here to Thailand. Let's make them feel better, let them feel welcome, because we have a big community here in Thailand as well. And in China, there's over 70 million. In Southeast Asia, there's many, many more. And this month, June, is Gay Pride Month, so what better time to say welcome to the LGBT community. Let's make it a very exciting place for them. I know we have festivals in Thailand for that community, and I think it's a really big part of the future of Thailand. And I see Minister is nodding his head because I know that's what Thailand is focusing at, to make everybody feel included and everybody feel welcome. And that's great. That's really great, because not every country is like that anymore, unfortunately, but everybody wants to come to Thailand. So as I mentioned, these things that are unique to Thailand, the Thai herbs, not just the 2,000 I mentioned for medical purposes, but the Thai herbs they use in the food as well. That's what makes it so good. Thai food, Thai massage. As I said, if you want to have a massage anywhere in the world, the best masseuse is renowned to be from Thailand. And traditional Thai medicine, as I've talked about. Next slide, please. So just a little bit more details about traditional Thai medicine. I think most people have heard about it, even the people coming from overseas. But the various things like the moxibustion, which is what you can see in this picture here, using a certain kind of a product to help healing. The Thai massage, Thai hermits exercise, the Thai herbal compress is very important. Another way of using Thai herbs is to put them in a compress and place them on the body. Herbal medicine I've talked about a lot, and of course meditation. And since we are primarily a country of religious people, many of us are Buddhists, then we all practice meditation, and that helps us to keep our mind calm and our mind very healthy and strong. Next slide, please. So, at Miskawaan Health Group, we practice functional medicine, and really all functional medicine is the same thing as traditional Thai medicine, and that is looking at the person as a whole organism. Some doctors say the worst thing that's happened in modern medicine is specialization, because you'll go and see a doctor for a particular organ in your body, and that's all he's going to focus at. But that organ doesn't work by itself. It works with everything else that's going on in the body. And this is the same concept as traditional Thai medicine. So what we're bringing here to Thailand is really just the same concept, using modern methods and using the body's inherent ability to heal itself, which is, again, the same concept as Thai traditional medicine and what we call functional medicine in the West. So going back to what I said earlier, in Southeast Asia, Thailand is the center of internationally renowned medical doctors, very well-established medical tourism, as I said, leisure and lifestyle tourism. It's a destination everybody wants to come to, and combining the traditional Thai medicine approach with functional medicine and the best of conventional medicine. We don't say we don't use conventional medicine. We do, but we don't use it exclusively. We put it all in an integrated approach to keep everybody healthy. And Thailand is the best place on the planet, in my opinion, to do this. And that's why we're all here, and that's why all your clients are going to come to Thailand. If you tell them this and you share the message, they're going to be demanding that you send them to Thailand. Next slide, please. So again, we talk about bespoke wellness and personalized healthcare. That's really important to make sure that the treatment is tailored to the individual, because we're all individual. I'm very sorry to hear one of our former speakers, her mother had cancer. I hope she's getting better. I'm sure she is. But there's not just one cancer in the world. There's as many different cancers as there are people with cancer. So if there's 1 million people with cancer, there's 1 million different diseases have to be treated individually. So that's absolutely key, and Thailand does that really well because we have the resources here that we can do it. Next slide, please, because I think my time is up. So I just want to say at Miskawaan Health Group, that's what we do. We tailor our medical programs to you as an individual. We use the best of conventional and functional medicine together with traditional medicine and all the other complementary treatments like massage, herbs and everything like that. Nutrition is key to help you come to Thailand, have your vacation and go back feeling much more healthier than when you came to Thailand. So I hope everyone enjoyed the message that I had today. You probably got the idea that I love Thailand, and I thank you very much for spending some time with me here at the TTM Plus today.
Thank you, David. Kindly remain on the stage, David. David, please remain on the stage, and I'd like to invite back on the stage Mich Goh and Ms. Abdulrahim, who will be presented the token of appreciation by Minister of Tourism and Sports. So may I invite on the stage once again His Excellency Mr. Phiphat Ratchakitprakarn to present the gifts to our distinguished speakers. Very insightful information we received from 3 speakers. Mr. David Boehm, ขอบคุณมากครับ Mich Goh from Airbnb, inclusive tourism with Airbnb, another potential for Thailand and the region. And of course, last but not least, Ms. Abdulrahim from Meta. And let's have another group picture with all the 3 speakers and the minister. ถ่ายภาพหมู่ร่วมกันครับ Thank you very much once again. ขอบคุณมากครับ His Excellency Mr. Phiphat and all our distinguished speakers. Please stick around. Our next section is all about the latest in Thailand, the Thailand product update, which is very important. As you know, we've been through COVID-19 and we kept changing at the regulations. So what is the latest? And that's about to be unveiled in the next session, the Thailand product update. And I'm going to hand this over to our next MC, Kun Patharanut. Please give her a warm welcome as well. And that will be it for me. My name is Varin Sachadeo. You've been a wonderful audience. ขอบคุณมากครับ สวัสดีครับ Kun Patharanut, take it away.
My name is Patharanut Sittiwanit and I'll be with you for these sessions. And as Kun Warin said, the Thailand product update is also another exciting and as well as important for the TTM Plus. And because we've been a while for some time and you may wonder what is new, what is going to happen here in Thailand, also what is the focus and the highlights of Thailand tourism. And to give you more information and detail and updates about it, may I please invite on stage Mr. Sripakarn Chielsamut, Deputy Governor for Marketing and Communications.
Good afternoon, distinguished guests, members of the press, ladies and gentlemen. I believe that the Thailand Travel Mart this year is not just an ordinary trade event, but like a reunion to meet our friends who always continuously supporting us, and also great opportunity to meet new friends and new businesses here. In the past 2 years, ladies and gentlemen, there are a lot of change and adjustment in the travel and tourism industry globally. Likewise, right here in amazing Thailand as well. So the Tourism Authority of Thailand also came up with the new directions and new communication concept to make the most memorable trip to our travelers in the future. So please, next slide, please. So on the screen, what is the overview for Thailand Travel Mart Plus this year, 2022? This is the first time ever that TAT has organized a hybrid event, on-site and online, for those countries who can't make it happen here in Thailand, who can't come to Thailand to join, attend by themselves in person, like our friend from China. They're on virtual, they're on online, to meet with the Thai sellers here as well. Look at the numbers. Buyers from 42 countries, majority from ASEAN, South Asia, South Pacific, Europe, Africa, Middle East, also East Asia and America. The total number is 275 of the international buyers. The good thing is that the newcomer, there are 45.7%, they are newcomer who never been to attend the Thai Travel Mart here, so that's why I mentioned that this is a great opportunity to make more friends, new opportunity in the future. And what about the sellers? Sellers came across the nation, north, east, west, south, central, majority from the south, of course, central, east, and northern. Total number is quite good, 260 Thai sellers here, and then 39%, almost 40% are newcomers as well. I heard from the Deputy Governor Thanet, who are the organizer of this event, that the matching appointment for the buyer and seller this year is very good number. The perfect matching is about 35 to 40%. In compared to, 2 years ago, it's about 20% maximum. So that means buyer and seller, they're looking for the same partners. They're perfect matching, almost 40% this year. I think that's a good number. And then we have over 100 of the medias from overseas and Thailand as well. This is overview of Thailand Travel Mart this year. Next, please. So the Thailand Tourism Station. Next slide, please. Thailand, the Tourism Authority of Thailand, we attempt to propose the new initiative to reopen the country since last year. Starting with the STV, I think some of you might be familiar with, the Special Tourist Visa, starting from January last year, 2021, until June, with the happy quarantine concept, where the people still keep, in the room and enjoy hotel facilities. We call happy quarantine. But there are numbers of the visitors keep on coming and supporting us during the STV for the first half of the year. And then followed by July is Phuket Sandbox, Samui Plus model, extension to Krabi and Phang province. That was happened in July onwards. And then Taste and Go come in November the 1st. Quarantine free, you can just enjoy just one night stay in the hotel, and tomorrow your negative result came out, you're free to go. That's Taste and Go. So the result of last year, 2021, we welcome over 427,000 international tourists to Thailand. That was last year. And then, what about this year? From January, the new Omicron claim, we suspend the service a little bit, and then we just lift all those Taste and Go scheme. From 1st of January to 31st of May, first 5 months, we welcome over 1.3 million international tourists to Thailand. And as of now, June, just the first week, from 1st of June to yesterday, the 7th of June, first week, we welcome approximately 150,000 in 7 days. So if the trend kept on growing like this, that is our target for next year. Next slide, please. And if you don't mind, I can see the monitor display here as well, please. Thank you. Yes, the target for 2022 and 23 and 4. So this year, we expect to see the numbers of the revenue 50% back from the pre-COVID 2019. That means we target numbers of 1.5 trillion Thai baht revenue from both domestic and international, as you can see on the screen. And also from now on, June to September, the green season here in Thailand, we expect to see numbers of 500,000 international arrival on each month. Then the high season in October, November, December, we double up the number to 1 million. That's what our target for this year. Overall, it's approximately 7 million tourists minimum to welcome this year in Thailand. So next, please. And what about next year and the year onwards? Next slide, please. 2023, revenue is 2.4 trillion Thai baht. That means 80%. 80% of what we done, in year 2019, the pre-pandemic, 2.4 trillion, 80%. Until we, expect to meeting, before we expect to meeting up with the same numbers of 2019 on the year 2024. That is the revenue, not the numbers of tourists. According to the government policy, they said, well, reach this number of revenue, but maybe cut half of the numbers of tourists. So that means we target on the high-value tourists in coming futures. Like our speaker, Kun David as well, the wellness, travelers, that's our key target segment, one of the target segment for next year. So next slide, please. Well, what about the travel measures, restriction? Make it easier to remember, ladies and gentlemen, just two code names. First, VIP. The second is TIP, tip, VIP and tip. What is VIP means? It's vaccine. If you're fully vaccinated, you just submit your vaccine certificate and also insurance with minimum coverage on any kind of insurance, $10,000 and also passport only into the Thailand Pass system. And then at the moment, Thailand Pass system is no longer waiting time. When you click submit all that VIP, that will be automatically generated QR immediately. So there'll be no waiting time at the moment. From now on, I can reassure you that. But what about if you're unvaccinated travelers or you are incomplete vaccine? It's easier. You just go with TIP scheme. Test before departures, 22 hours, either RT-PCR test or the professional ATK only. And then with insurance coverage of minimum 10,000 and also the passport. That is the new travel measures to Thailand, TIP and VIP. So next slide, please. Well, this year, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to celebrate the Visit Thailand year 2022 and 2023 under the concept and key highlight of amazing new chapters. What does new chapters mean? Next slide, please. So we're going to highlight the Thailand strength in terms of abundance of tourism experiences and cultural diversity and richness of Thailand culture and experiences. And then the key highlight is also the feeling of from A to Z or A to Z. Amazing Thailand has it all. If you can see from the screen, for instance, O is stand for organic lifestyle. W is stand for vacation. V is vegan Thai recipe. A stand for authentic artisan of wellness retreats. That is the kind of the experiences menu that we're going to offer to the tourists to fulfill their dreams. Or maybe just put this experience into their travel bucket list and come to Thailand when the time's come or when they have time. So that's just an idea of the Visit Thailand year. Please, next slide, please. So we're going to highlight the key communication concept. If you look at the top part of the screen, nature, food, Thainess. Nature, food, Thainess have been NFT. But it's not NFT of the cryptocurrency, non-fungible tokens. It's NFT in terms of Thai tourism businesses. That means nature to keep, food to explore, and Thainess to experience and discover. Thainess to discover. That is the concept of NFT with the feeling of the example menu of experience, fun, and love. That is the new key communication campaign, just like cinematic theme as well in terms of the key visual. That is also about the, in brief, of the Visit Thailand year. So next slide, please. I think everyone in the past 2 years realized that most of the people globally, they kept on, switch to work from home, enjoy, browse internet, and enjoy watching the movies through their streaming services, system. That's what happened 2 years. So the subscription, this is the figure from the Motion Picture Association. They mentioned that the subscription to online video service rose 26% to reach 1.1 billion globally in 2022. That's mean this year. It rose 26% in compared to the pre-pandemic. So next slide, please. And then the Statista.com, they just expect that the number will keep on growing like this. The numbers of the video on demand subscriptions and subscribers worldwide in 2027 will be increasing at least 50%. 50% increasing to 1.69 billion subscriptions in 2027. So, ladies and gentlemen, all these figures has inspired TAT to producing the new TVC of the Amazing Thailand, Amazing New Chapters. Welcome to the TTM Plus Cinema, ladies and gentlemen. Please let and enjoy the new Amazing New Chapters, the new excitement of the video of Thailand, and let the Amazing New Chapters begins. Light, light, light. Camera 1, yes. Camera 2, yes. Ready? Yes. Then action.
How far is it?
How much time do you have?
It's never too late to love again.
This trip was amazing. Too bad you ruined it.
But it may not be easy.
You tell me you're scared. You tell me you're weak. But I know you're stronger.
Hi, Paul. Meet my new love.
Hello, Paul. Nice to meet you.
Hope you're having a wonderful time in Thailand.
And I know
I don't know what to do. I think she's gonna leave and...
Yeah, I know.
Go get her, dear. Go and get her.
The new chapter of love begins again.
Guys, look, they're so cute.
Wayne.
I saw something. giving me a break. Do you believe in the multiverse?
Multiverse?
You should follow her.
Thank you. I hope you enjoyed the movie. The key message is write your new own chapters. Starling is you, everyone here. Our potential customer in the future. Starling is themselves, to create their own chapter in Thailand. So next slide, please. I got a few slides to conclude my presentation today. The government policy is announced that the Thailand, the whole countries, we're going to moving forward under the model of BCG, which is stand for bioeconomy, circular economy, and green economy. So next slide, please. The various segments of Thai tourism businesses will be implemented on those BCG model. And as you can see from the screen, a good example of one of the campaign that we will collaborate with the Thai Organic Consumer Association or TOCA. We integrated the digital tourism, responsible tourism to driving the sustainability. We create the farmers network, connect them to the consumers, reducing the kind of carbon credit, and also distribute the benefit, inclusive economies. That is what we're going to do, benefit more to the social and also to the local people. This is the vignette of the PHUKET, a new dimension, in terms of the collaboration with Thai Organic Consumer Association, as you can see. So next slide, please. This is just a good example. TAT are moving forward to make Thailand as the remote worker-friendly destinations. We create also a website that provides comprehensive supply side information and promote the destination like Phuket and beyond, and some other destinations as well for the remote workers friendly destinations. So next slide, please. We believe that the key concerns, the priority concerns of the digital nomads and the remote workers who stay longer in the countries will be the visa. Luckily, on the 10th of May, last month, the cabinet has been approved a new scheme of the long-term resident or LTR visa in Thailand, which is going to be published in the Royal Gazette very soon. So what is inside? The LTR visa, of course, they cut costs for visa fee, cut it half. The visa fee is now only 50,000 Thai baht instead of the 100,000 in the past. So that means they cut it half, make more attractive, and more value to the visa fee. The validity is 10 years, and all those eligible groups is retirees, specialists, working, and also wealthy foreigner. That is the target for the LTR. That's good news and make it more competitiveness, for the long-term resident in Thailand. So next slide, please. Wellness, I don't have to talk much because Kun David from Miskawaan has been announced that, but I just would like to reassure that it was approved by the Center for Economic Situation Administration, or CSA, and then acknowledged by the cabinet in terms of medical hub, not only in the South or Andaman Wellness Hub, but also in the South, in the northern part, northeastern, central hub as well for Thailand. So next slide, please. The Thailand Two-Stage, the global event this year, 2022, after the Thailand Travel Mart Plus. So next slide, please. Thailand is the host country for APEC for this year, and there will be a numbers of over 100 meetings and sessions organized here in Thailand related to the APEC since December last year until November this year. More than 100 meeting and sessions, including the 11th APEC Tourism Ministerial Meeting in Bangkok during 14 to 20 of August under the concept of regenerative tourism, which actually the result will be proposed to the APEC Leadership Summit in November this year as well. So there will be, let's say, inform and also report to the APEC leaders in coming November for this result as well. So next slide, please. Travel Broker Exchange. Some of you might not familiar with this. TBEX, it stands for Travel Broker Exchange, content creator, influencers around the world, whereas actually this is going to be the second time for Thailand to host the TBEX Asia right here in Phuket again. But back to year 2015, that was the first one ever that Thailand hosts TBEX Asia in Bangkok. Now the second time here in Phuket for Travel Broker Exchange Asia, 15 to 18 of November. There will be 300 to 500 content creators will be here in this area of Phuket and beyond. Next, please. What about the sport event, the global sports event like MotoGP? I'm very happy to announce as well that Buriram are going to host the MotoGP in Buriram for the third time. So that means for the third time here in Buriram. After 2 years of COVID pandemic, they're back to Buriram for MotoGP as well. So next slide, please. In conclusion, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very delighted that Thailand is in the stage of fully reopening. And I can reassure you one thing, while the people globally around the world, they keep work from home, enjoy browsing, watching movies, but right here in Thailand, all of Thai people in the tourism industry, we never stop. And we not only work from home, but we work from their hearts. Work from their hearts to make sure that amazing new chapter in Thailand is worth a wait and visit for coming travelers to Thailand. So ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of my presentation today. Hope you enjoy staying in amazing new chapter in amazing Thailand for the whole week. Thank you so much. Swadikap.
Thank you very much, Mr. Siripakon Chielsawut, for that wonderful presentation and the cinematic experience of Thailand tourism. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are interested, the PowerPoint presentation will be available for downloads at the Media Kit. The Media Kit will be available for download up at the Media Center, just right upstairs. And up next is also another exciting event for our buyers, which is the on-site appointment at 4:30 at ACES Hall. So just right after this, please head over to the ACES Hall. Ladies and gentlemen, it concludes our opening ceremony. Today marks an auspicious event for the opening. We got many insightful information on the Thailand tourism industry as well. And if you would like to follow for more information and latest update on Thailand tourism, please visit the TAT News, which is worldwideweb.tatnews.org, or you can scan the QR code. And especially for this event, we also launch a daily report. It will be a digital daily report. So you can scan the QR code to find out what is happening here at TTM. And we have our executives interview as well. Also, the photo available in the daily reports will be available for usage, so the media can use that as well without having to give any credits. Also, we have recommendations and inspiration for you to where to go, where to eat, and where to discover yourself in this amazing Thailand. So today, thank you for joining us. I hope you have a successful business here, and as Mr. Siripakon said, I hope you have an amazing time in amazing Thailand. Thank you and Sawasdee Ka.
Amazing Thailand. Welcome to the amazing new chapters of Thailand, where you discover yourself.
Do you believe in the multiverse?
Multiverse?
Where your love begins again. Where nature is calling you.
Mom, I met a new friend.
write your new chapter in amazing Thailand.
I think everyone, including me, we are excited about the coming TTM Plus 2022, which will be happen between 8 to 10 of June. We are excited because it's been about 2 years and a half that TTM Plus has suspended during the pandemic. So this time we aim to use TTM Plus to be a significant showcase of reopening Thailand campaign. It has launched since the 1st of January. So I'm sure that that would be a very significant TTM. This is going to be the first ever of the TTM, which we're going to combine the on-site and the online together in terms of appointment. So I would say this is going to be the TTM Plus hybrid. So after we have launched this project, start to inform both of the buyers and sellers, we have seen a very significant feedback from both of the buyers. So we can collect around 277 buyers from 42 countries around the world within, I think, 2 months after the project have launched. And also we have around 264 sellers around the country which aim to attend the functions as well. So what this means? It means I'm sure that TTM Plus, organized by TAT, still be a very significant B2B session, and everyone seems to be waiting for the coming back of the TTM Plus. So welcome back to the TTM Plus 2022. It's been 2 years we haven't seen each other in person. So I'm sure that this time in Phuket, from 8 to 10th of June, that would be a very spectacular experiences and opportunity for everyone to greet and meet with the 277 buyers around the world from 42 countries. So make sure that you can help TAT to explore amazing Thailand. We register in their mind. Thank you and welcome.